I honestly thought that my last video was probably going to be the last time I mentioned Cyberpunk 2077 or CD Projekt Red. But no, they seem to be great at at getting in the news, except it's never good PR. As you all know, CD Projekt Red's most recent game, Cyberpunk 2077, has had a shit launch, to say the very least. Bugs, glitches, errors all over the fucking place. Recently, they put one out of like a series of patches that are supposed to be coming. Except I have heard, I think it has corrected some issues, this most recent patch that they put out. But I also have heard that it also caused a lot of other glitches and errors to pop up that weren't previously there. CD Projekt Red has seemingly fallen far from grace, lying to the general public, lying to their investors, and we're going to touch on that in just one moment. Lying to Sony about so they lied to the investors and Sony about the condition of the game. I think that this is why Sony decided to pull their game from the market, not only because of the shitty launch, but I don't think Sony really knew the condition. Based off what I'm hearing, I don't think Sony knew the condition of the game, and I think CD Projekt Red kept telling them that the game was greenlit, it was great to go, and that same issue happened with their investors, which is what we're going to touch on here. But before we get there, I also need to mention the fact that CD Projekt Red has also admitted to lying about the condition of the game because they knew it was in a poor state before launch. They also manipulated the reviewing process, namely they stopped reviewers from having the ability to show their footage of the game, and only allowing reviewers to show hand-picked footage that CD Projekt Red came up with, because again, they knew that there were significant issues with the game. CD Projekt may be facing a class action lawsuit over Cyberpunk 2077. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse. And believe me, it does, because you think this is the big news? Buckle the fuck up. Hi, we are Red Candle Games. Earlier, GOG has announced on its official Twitter, after receiving many messages from gamers, there was no messages from gamers like this, and we'll touch on that in a second. We'll circle around back to that, because that is a bullshit ass statement. We have decided not to list the game in our store, though regretful, but we are willing to understand and respect GOG's decision. For the players looking forward to Devotion's re-release, please accept our most sincere apology. This is a difficult predicament to overcome, but we won't stop striving. Red Candle. If you don't know what GOG is a storefront that is owned by CD Projekt Red. Red Candle Games is an indie developer that has made this game called Devotion, and we will touch on that in one moment. But Devotion is a Taiwanese horror game that was being sold on GOG, again, GOG being owned by CD Projekt Red. We will never be able to play this game because the game has been removed from GOG. Nobody can touch it. Let's talk about it. Devotion is a psychological horror game. Devotion takes players through an abandoned 1980s apartment complex in Taiwan, where they have to figure out what happened to the religious family that once lived there. And prior to this game being pulled from GOG and Steam, and you can no longer buy it at all, this game was actually very well received, as we can see here on Metacritic, with an 85 Metascore overall. The user score was a 7.7. As you can see here, scrolling down a little bit, we see 90s, GameSpot, Edge Magazine, Vandal, IGN, and the game had pretty good scores overall, and the same goes for the Chinese market. And that's what we're going to touch on. This game was very well received everywhere, including the US obviously, but also the Chinese market. Apparently this game was huge over in China. Gamers fucking loved this game, and again, as I said earlier, it had fantastic reviews. Loved by everybody. It's a shame what wound up happening to this game. Basically, Chinese gamers were playing through the game, and as we all do, a lot of gamers sometimes, some gamers dig more than others. They're looking for Easter eggs, looking for hidden trophies or messages, and some of those things were uncovered. Among those Easter eggs, one of which was this here. An in-game poster of a cursed talesman that says, Xin Jinping Winnie the Pooh moron, and we all know where this is going. Chinese gamers discovered this message, weren't happy. This message gained traction among the Chinese gaming community. Eventually, Chinese gamers review bombed this game that was, again, as I said earlier, previously very well received everywhere, including in China. Chinese government caught wind of what was going on here. The Chinese government then found out that this was about a Winnie the Pooh meme, and as you know, Winnie the Pooh is completely banned in China due to the fact that there was some meme or joke going around explaining the fact that that the Chinese president looks a lot like Winnie the Pooh. They are very sensitive to that. The game vanished. Devotion has vanished. You can no longer purchase it anywhere because CD Projekt Red took it off of their market. There's no other way of saying this. The long and short of it is CD Projekt Red abandoned this indie developer by taking their game off of the GOG market owned by CD Projekt Red to appease to cater to the Chinese government. I once said that CD Projekt Red may be able to get their good faith back even after everything that happened with Cyberpunk 2077 and, lying to the general public, lying to Sony, lying to their investors by simply just being more honest moving forward and putting out a good game that, again, iron out the bugs and glitches before releasing it. But oh man, their reputation is already tarnished enough from Cyberpunk 2077 alone. But this story here kind of takes the cake. I haven't seen anything like this. There's multiple layers to this. One of which is the fact that this indie game developer is just being they're getting punched while they're down, and they have nowhere to sell their game anymore, strictly because CD Projekt Red wants to cater to the sensitivities of the Chinese market. And it doesn't matter that this Winnie the Pooh meme is inside of this game. That's ignoring the fact that the other issue is that this meme was already taken out, and China just wants to continue to punch down and destroy this indie game company, Red Candle Games, as much as possible, and CD Projekt Red is letting it happen. Instead of standing up for them and just saying, hey, well, the meme's gone, CD Projekt Red removes the game, and now they have nowhere to sell it. Again, let me remind you that this game was very well received up until this issue, but it is still well received in the United States, and nobody can purchase it now, which further causes people to have a sour taste in their mouth about CD Projekt Red. Last I checked, CD Projekt Red and GOG is a US based company, and over here in the US we do have this thing called freedom of speech. CD Projekt Red, you are fucking up, man. I understand that you want that China money because in all honesty, yes, the Chinese entertainment market, mainly TV, movies, and video games is much larger over there, which is why we're facing this issue, because CD Projekt Red seems to be all about the money at this point, and not taking the high ground and standing up for this indie game developer, which is how they marketed themselves is what we would have previously expected them to do, but they love bad PR. So CD Projekt Red, GOG, is lying through their teeth when they say that the reason this game was removed is due to the gaming community saying that they don't want it. No, that is not true in any way, shape, or form. CD Projekt Red, GOG, the reason why they took this game out is because they didn't want to upset the Chinese market, because they want that Chinese money, and what they did was just fucked. Because again, I really worry about this indie developer. I hope they can I hope somebody comes along and takes care of them. CD Projekt Red releases a game about fighting government and corporation oppression. Also, CD Projekt Red pulls a game from GOG within hours of announcing after receiving pressure from gamers, which is 100% covering for "we don't want to lose the Chinese market, so we're bowing to censorship." That's exactly what's going on here, and that's the biggest issue. They're bending the knee to the Chinese market, and that's the biggest issue. For what? Again, GOG, CD Projekt Red are US based companies, so the Chinese market has to come to CD Projekt Red and GOG in order to get the game. You set the rules, CD Projekt Red, so why are you catering to them? And you know what? If CD Projekt Red wants to rip apart the game and take out certain things and twist the game around in a way that pleases the Chinese government, because that's the market that they're also selling to, that is actually perfectly fine. But as long as you leave our games here in the US intact and sell it the way that it was intended, because we don't have the same restrictions. We're not offended by the same things. We're not as restrictive as they are over there in China. So that's them and this is us. Treat it differently. Don't censor our games and take away our games because of what's going on over there in China. Where does CD Projekt Red go from here, man?